We are officially back into earnings season once again. Every trader's favorite time of the year. We'll get a big one coming up this week with Netflix set to headline, along with more from the banking group. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley set to come through with their latest results as well. Economic data as well on the inflation front. PPI set to come through on Wednesday morning, along with December retail sales. It's your week ahead preview right now. As always, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe and also like this video. Let's jump right into it. Tuesday, we'll kick things off, coming off the holiday weekend as well. Everyone enjoy your long holiday weekend. In the pre-market, we'll get Goldman Sachs, we'll get Morgan Stanley, both set to release their numbers. Goldman Sachs shares were active last week, making headlines once again as the company announced another massive 3,200 layoffs coming through into earnings, as well as the bank continues to prepare what it is expecting to be a rough year with a recession on the way. Meanwhile, crypto bank Silvergate SI going to be on watch in the pre-market, set to report earnings as well. The traditional bank that has been embroiled in FTX-related headlines coming through with news that they have been successful in selling down some of their assets in order to cover a massive amount of withdrawal requests post the FTX debacle. Let's shift to after the close coming up on Tuesday. We'll keep an eye on MST. Monster Beverage could be an active stock as they kick off the new year with their annual virtual investor meeting and business update via webcast. The stock has been quietly strong, not only this year so far, but going back to 2022 as well. It was actually positive on the year for 2022. Check out a daily chart. It was up about 6%. All right, let's move on to Wednesday, where the economic calendar will take the spotlight once again. More inflation-related data coming your way on Wednesday pre-market. We'll get December PPI, producer prices set to hit the wire coming up at 8:30, along with December retail sales ahead of earnings from the retailers coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll also then get at 9:15 one of those sneaky numbers that can come out without you paying attention, and the market will move. December industrial manufacturing production at 9:15, 10 Eastern then. Business inventories for November, another economic number that is related to the overall economy when it comes to inflation. So do pay attention to that one again, Wednesday at 10 Eastern. Going back to the PPI number that we are expecting at 8:30 Eastern on Wednesday in December. If you remember, data showed producer prices rose only slightly, up 0.3%, showing inflation is still rising. Meanwhile, early holiday shopping data suggesting that retailers once again return to online shopping for the important shopping holiday season that saw numbers tick up 5% on an early read on a year-over-year basis. After the market closes, we'll get more earnings for you. This time we'll go to the airline group. United Airlines set to deliver their latest result. Let's move on to Thursday, a light session overall with the headliner set to come after the market closes. Netflix going to report earnings. Last week, Barron's analysts were out with a negative note on the stock, suggesting sub-growth numbers could come in below estimates for this quarter. Pre-market then, let's get into the economic side. We'll get the Philly Fed employment and business conditions for January. That's coming out at 8:30 Eastern. Typically not one of those market-moving numbers, but given the current conditions, we'll definitely be watching that again at 8 Thursday. During the session, then, we'll have a look at Costco shares starting at 11 a.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. Pacific time, depending on what coast you're on. The company is set to hold its annual shareholder meeting, one of those events that takes place in the middle of the day, and we typically get comments from a CFO or a CEO that could move the stock. So again, Costco shareholder meeting, annual shareholder meeting coming up on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. All right, Friday, we'll wrap things up with a bit of a quiet day set. The only notable economic release for Friday comes at 8:30 Eastern with the weekly initial jobless claims. This hasn't been a market-moving number for quite some time, but worth a note. Again, 8:30 pre-market on Friday. Initial jobless claims. The quiet period, meanwhile, for the Fed has concluded, which means we have a full slate and a full schedule of Fed representatives set to come through next week as well. As always, we'll bring you all the action live daily on TraderTV.Live.